So I'm late to the party, right? This has been all over the news outlets and everything. And I'm just getting to this. But here's why I'm just getting to this. I prefer to talk about my thoughts on the subject rather than to just go into details. And I will leave links in the description about this. All right. So, as we all know, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company have filed a lawsuit against Power World developer Pocketpair. And then recently, the Power World developers responded to it, and basically, it's my understanding that they're going to fight it. Okay. So instead of just talking about all the details surrounding that, I'm going to give my thoughts on why this is happening. Nintendo didn't think that this was going to be the big success that it became. If it had just gotten like, a few hundred, you know, customers, sales, it didn't sell very well or anything like that. You know, they weren't going to worry about it. They weren't going to go after the company. They weren't going to say a word. They weren't going to do anything. But what happened was, and they can't, and here's the other thing, people are like, oh, the characters are too much like Pokemon. From an aesthetic design point of view, they're similar, but they're not exactly the same as anything in Pokemon. They're not a straight rip. They're just similar in design and philosophy. And rather than going after them over copyright infringement, Nintendo's going over them over patent infringement. Now, it's my understanding that the reason they're doing this is because of the ball catching mechanic. It's very Pokeball-like. The mechanic is not quite the same though, and that's what I'm trying to understand here. I've seen a lot of people play the game. I haven't played it yet. I want to get it. The mechanics that seen in all of it aren't exactly like Pokemon. The entire game isn't really a Pokemon ripoff, really, not really. Yes, it has animals, these monster creatures. Yes, you capture them, but they don't necessarily battle in a Pokemon-like way. There aren't a bunch of trainers, as far as I can tell. Some of these monsters use guns. The only thing that this has to be about is the Pokeball-esque capturing mechanic. That is the problem. So here's my thing. They could change that. They could change it right now. If you're watching Pocketpair, change that mechanic. Any mechanic that you think could be the issue, change it. You have time. You have time. Might I suggest instead of a ball, might I suggest a collar that hits to their neck, causing them to just freeze in place with the meter that says if you caught them or not? Then they can immediately from there kind of jet over into something for storage. Might I suggest that if you change the mechanic for that out, Nintendo doesn't have a case. So that's my suggestion to Pocketpair. They don't Nintendo doesn't have a case if you do everything you can to remove any mechanic between now and then, between the court filing, the court proceedings. All right, because I haven't seen exactly what they're going after you for. It's very vague, just that they're going after you. You have time to fix whatever this is. If you fix what it is and remove it, you can point to it and say, oh, well, we got rid of that the other day. We don't have that anymore. We came up with a better idea. I don't know why we're here. I mean, that's something that I think could work. I'm not sure, but I mean, I feel like it's worth a try. Look, what this all comes down to, what this actually, and I got to turn this stupid thing down and keep going into the red. What this all comes down to, right, is money. Nintendo didn't care until Power World made a shit ton of money. Power World was a success. Power World, and this is a good test of my pop filter. Power World ended up being so much of a success and making so much money that Nintendo, and this could be twofold. This could be two reasons for this, by the way. But they made so much money that Nintendo, and by the way, Nintendo and Pokemon Company have seen better days. The last Pokemon games that I'm aware of came out buggy as hell, broken as hell. They're nothing like the 2D games prior year. They've cut down on the Pokemon that are involved, the monsters that are involved, and everything in Pokemon. It's not the same game anymore since moving to next gen hardware away from handhelds and 2D stuff. Since moving into 3D and everything, the games just aren't the same. Personally, if I were the company, I would go back to 2D. Just go back to 2D. Go back to stuff that doesn't take up a lot of space. That's what I would do. I'm just saying that's what I do. I would move away from 3D models. I don't know. I don't know. It's not working. But anyhow, so because of this, they're like cha-ching, and we have a lawsuit. Let's look at something that we can go after them for. They can't really go after them. Everybody's like copyright infringement. I'm like, no, no. Yes, they're similar, but they're not the same. You have to make something exactly the same. There's not enough there for them to go after as far as the design of characters or anything. It's not enough. But if they could find something else, and they did, and they thought they could get, this could also be that Nintendo's lawyers are bored. They need something to do. Nintendo has lawyers that are always on payroll. And if there's nothing going on for these guys to do, they go out looking for things to do. You know, they got to earn that cash money, bitch. Okay. So what this is money. It's money driven. It's something that was a success. Nintendo saw that it was a success. Nintendo's like, cha-ching. That's it. Here's the other reason I think this is happening right now. This is a tactic that the government uses. And I hate to go into conspiracy shit, but this is a tactic the government uses. What they are doing is they're doing this whole thing to get people's attention away from Switch 2 leaks. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. I'm speculating here. It's an interesting topic to talk about, you know. Between these two companies, you know, we have Nintendo getting slammed, and now we have you know, or Nintendo slamming Power World, and then Power World Pocketpair going, nah, bruh, nah, bruh. So, but let's take a look at the game for a second, as it is. Power World is more of a Ark Survival evolved clone. The game is an open world sandbox survival game in which you build houses and bases and go after more, you know, monsters and collect those pals. Sorry, I should call them what they call them, pals. Your pals. That's what this is. And the ones that should go up, that I would think would be going after them right now, are the developers of games like Ark Survival Evolved and so on and so forth. The twist on this game is that even though it's like Ark Survival Evolved, even though it's like that game, it's not that game. It also has the catching the monsters, having them help you with menial tasks, and building your base and everything like that. In effect, this is not really a Pokemon clone. They could have put any kind of monster stylings in there. They could have made the monsters look scary and frightening and disturbing and whatnot, and kept the gameplay. I don't think Nintendo would have batted an eye. Really. But they went for this, and they went hard on it. Now, Nintendo is going to court with them. It's going to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's happening. It could change. But here's my thing about Nintendo. I hope they lose. I hope they lose. Nintendo needs to lose a court case. I don't know if they've lost anything in the past, and why does this keep jumping up so high? Jesus. I don't. There we go. Did want it out of the red. I don't know if Nintendo's ever lost a case in the past. The audio is going to be all over the place in this video. I don't know if Nintendo's ever lost a court case in the past, but a court case this big, I feel like they need to lose to humble them as a company. Nintendo needs humbled. They're not humbled as a company enough. Companies get too big for their britches. They think they can get away with frivolous lawsuits left and right. And there's a part of me that grew up with Nintendo, loves Nintendo, but there's a part of me that wants to see it sticking to them. I love seeing it get stuck to the man. Nintendo is the man in this situation, and I feel like the industry is better when they're not sending out lawsuits against each other and crap like that. I just, it needs to stop. It really, I could have threw gameplay from somebody's channel. I didn't want to have to reach out and ask somebody for gameplay. I want to get the game. I'll probably get it during the fall sale. I haven't got it yet. But yeah. So, I do. I want to see Nintendo lose this lawsuit, humble them a bit, and stop going after people over these menial little things, these minor little things. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. All right, Nintendo is sue happy. They file lawsuits almost all the time. They need to lose something. And again, if the developers of this game make some last minute changes to the gameplay, get rid of anything that could be going to court over, patent infringement, like, oh, well, we don't use that anymore. We got rid of the ball mechanic. We got rid of that. Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. Oh, yeah. Well, why are we here? Again, I don't know if that would work, but I feel like it's worth a try, worth a shot. Oh, well, we got rid of that mechanic. That mechanic doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, that's gone. What other mechanics we got rid of? We're steady making changes to a lot of things. We never planned to keep it. I don't think Nintendo would have a case. Yeah, there's a part of me that loves Nintendo, but there's a part of me that needs to see companies humbled. Sony needs humbled, and unfortunately, nobody is competing with them properly right now. That's why we have a console that's $700, and scalpers are going to be selling it for $2,000. Fucking insane. Sony needs to focus on games and less on hardware. That's Sony's problem. They need to make games. They need games. All right, and they need games of all types. They need games that are only on their platform, and they need to stop with The Last of Us and all these other these remasters. Just stop. It's done. It's over. We don't need any more of these remasters of these games. I don't think anybody does. Personally, I don't play PlayStation anymore. I haven't played PlayStation since the PlayStation 3. After that, I was done. I was like, I could see the direction the industry was heading in, and I didn't like it. And it's kind of sad that I have a Switch. It was gifted to me, I think, from Tripcore. If you're out there, hey, bud, thank you. I don't know what else to say on the subject. I like Nintendo, but I don't like their practices. I like their products. I don't like their attitudes. Yeah, I can be critical of a company. And plus, I just have this thing about me. I love seeing companies get put in their place every now and then. Humble them a bit. Sony needs humbled the hell and back. Microsoft, I think, is being quite humbled right now as far as their Xbox consoles go, that is. Now somebody needs to humble them in the operating system market. This has been The Goof. Rate, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Again, this is bollocks. This is money driven and attention driven. Have a good one.